Yo, so I told you I was gonna make a video about how I ended up homeless. Now, I don't know if this AC is loud, but I just got done with work. Yeah, I got my shirt off, whatever. 118 degrees all day. Last 3 days. Got one more day in Pauhana, right? So, I was reflecting earlier and I wanted to make a video on like how I ended up homeless. Now, in this video, I am not blaming anybody. I am not, deflecting or putting anything on anybody. I'm gonna tell you what I went through, what the outcome was, and it does involve individuals just like every incident does. But at the end of the day, it was my fault and self-neglect of responsibilities, and I guess you can say being a follower or putting too much trust into people and getting comfortable, right? And yeah, that's about it. So let's get into this. I'm gonna jump into it. So let's snap into it. I gave a little test, AC, whatever. I cooled off, shut it off, got the body temperature down. So it's 2017, I'd say August, which is kind of a coincidence because it's August now, right? So I'm already kind of like in a situation, you can say homeless, whatever. I'm in Philly. I'm staying at my sister's, my older sister, my little sister. My brother, he ain't my brother, but I knew the man since I was like 7, so he's like, I don't care. When we grew up, you wouldn't see him without me and me without him, and sometimes we just disappear, and my mom or his mom and dad would always find us at like Pete's Clown House or White Castle or any food establishment. That's where you could find us, because man, me and him used to bust grub. And that's another video I'm going to make about intimacy. Intimacy is something so much more deeper than having a relationship with a female or, a companion. But anyways, let's not get off topic because, squirrel, you know how I be getting, right? So I'm just doing my thing, and then I'm being a homosexual, right? I'm in Philly being a homosexual. I got a girl over in Jersey. Well, I got 2 girls over in Jersey. I got one downtown Center City. So I'm just like, dude, whatever, doing my thing. And my friend at the time, I should have known better, but I was kind of in like a flight or fight situation to where it's like, damn, dude. And I was just in survival mode. And at the time, I didn't even have a license. My license was suspended. I had a car, but my shit was fucked up. I was living a lifestyle, right? And my friend hit me up. Well, we were talking, and at the time, her and her husband just bought a house down south, but they're over-the-road truck drivers. Which, to me, whatever, They said, yo, man, listen, if you need a place to stay, the key's under the mat. Go down there, just take care of the grass, try to get yourself established. Take a few months, you got time to get on your feet. Because they'd only be home like once a month or every other month, right? And at the time, they have 2 dogs. The one, Rex, cool-ass dog. He bit me in the face, but anyways. Yeah, they're over-the-road truck drivers, and they said, just go down to the pad. It's a beautiful house, right? Never been down south before. And I was like, what, fuck it, dude, And they even sent me a portion of the gas money to get down there because I was kind of like low on funds, but I was kind of in the middle of a flipping and a re-up and everything else. So what I did was the money they sent me, I finished that with the re-up, did that, made a few moves, that way I had extra money, and then my journey began, right? My journey fucking began. I left Philly. I'll never forget it. It was 6:17 in the evening. I didn't even tell no one I was leaving. I just went, did my shit, dropped off my packages, got a little extra bread, and paid my old boy, that put me on real quick so I could, survive. And hopped on 95, went through Delaware, which I'm all familiar with Delaware, Maryland. And somehow I ended up like on an expressway, and I never been on like a highway or expressway that had like the advance lane, like it's all coned off. I guess it's like a pool lane or whatever. and both of them said the direction, but I was like, fuck. And then it said like a toll. I was like, oh damn, I'm gonna have to blow the toll. And anyways, I end up in this lane and I can't get out of it because there's like barriers, right? I'm like, fuck. And I got a license. I got out of state tags. I got my little hat on, off to the side, and just, I'm like, fuck, am I probably gonna get pulled over? Anyways, make it past there. Somehow I thought I was on Route 66 because I get into Virginia. I'm going through Virginia now. Virginia sucks. There's a point there to where it's just a long highway and it's like all trees, but then it keeps on saying like speed enforced by helicopter or aircraft. I'm like, what the fuck? And at the time, I had some shit in my trunk with all my tattoo machines. So I'm like, fuck. Anyways, they're calling me. I guess they're off the truck. They're drinking. They want to introduce me to the neighbor. And it's just like, I think I got there at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And old boy, her husband, he's a truck driver. So like, I'm coming in and I see all these state troopers. I'm on 11 East, passing John Deere. And I'm like, yo, dude, where do you live? Like, there's cops everywhere. I need to get the fuck off the road. Like, he's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know where you live, bro? Anyways, I get to the house, and he's like, I'm standing outside. Where are you? And I'm like, where are you? Like, can you turn your flashlight? He's like, I got all the house lights on. I'm like, okay, I see a house with all the lights on, but being, like, up in Pennsylvania and the Poconos, being up in West Virginia, Ohio, up in the country, you just don't be pulling into people's driveway, especially 4 o'clock in the morning. And if they got all the lights on, they're probably getting ready for work. So I didn't know how the South was. So I'm telling this dude, like, yo, put your flashlight on. Like, wave your phone at me or something so I know it's you. And I'm just sitting there in the middle of the street. And he's like, yo, dude, you pulling up the driveway? Anyways, get up there. They're drunk. I go in, have a beer, give everyone a hug, go to sleep. Scout, dude, buddy, hey, come here. Now, Scout. So that's the first night. I got to meet the neighbor. Neighbor's quite a character. And I had like $324 left or whatever for like tolls and gas. I give that back to my friend. That was my fault because she was intoxicated. And even the next day, like, we went out grocery shopping. She showed me where all the grocery stores was. And I was like, hey, did you get that money? She's like, what money? And I was like, I put it in your pocketbook. She's like, oh, I thought that was like from when I withdrew it. I was like, crap. So now, like, and she's like, but anyways, you could have just kept all that money and then, just pay me back when you got on your feet. And my thing was like, I still got a few dollars and of my personal money, right? And I'd rather just get that back to you so that's less I have. You're already putting a roof over my head. So anyways, fast forward, we come up with an agreement. I mow the grass and I can live there for free. They end up getting back on the truck. They had 2 male dogs, blue, they're small, they're like white but black patches, not blue hound. Anyways, I put a picture of him right here. And the dog Tex, he's kind of like, so they left him with me. And things were going good. No matter of fact, the next day we went to a grocery store, and then we went to the neighbor's like, yo, man, I want to take you to this biker bar. I'm like, cool. They take me down to this biker bar. The owner's from Philadelphia, the wife, and then the old man, he's from New York, but they're like residing in Florida, but they have this biker bar in this location where we're at. And I was like, yo, man, I need a job. This and that. Boom, hired, right? And I was doing like 60, 70 hours a week there. I was hoping, because we're from the same place and everything, that they paid that decent. Come to find out, they only paid $7.25 an hour, which, granted, under the table, right? So boom, cool, whatever. About 30, 40-minute drive, whatever, no big deal. All backcountry roads. And I'm working there. I'm doing my thing. Now she has a mutual friend of ours, which is a dear friend of mine, and she moves in with her son, and this is like a few months down the road, and everything's going good, right? Me and our friend that moved down from Jersey, like, would bicker, whatever, but it was always like out of love, or just. And then she has a kid, so I can understand her being overprotective of him or defending him, or what I'm saying, just mama bear, right? Like, oh, I clean the house all day, this and that, and like, can you pick up your shoes, or it is what it is. So there wasn't like really no issues. And except like when they would get off the truck, I understand it's their house, but like my friend, our neutral, friend, because the lady and the husband we moved in with, this was also her female best friend, and I was the male best friend, right? But like, they'd come home, old girl would like just get off work, put her food in the microwave, and the husband's like, "Well, I've been on the truck all this time. I'm hungry. Take your food out the microwave. I need to heat my stuff up." Now, I understand it's your house, but that's like kind of inconsiderate. So they'll do shit like that. And besides that, like, it was cool. Like, everything was great. I was working. My friend was working. They were on the truck. Like, everything was locked down. Now, fast forward to where my friend who owns the house, her son comes up. Now, her son, she never really had the son in her life or whatever. It's just like one of those things where the parents raised the kid. And me and my friend was talking like, "Yo, we need to get out of here because when he comes, it's bad." Because he's kind of an instigator, and he's just like, he has no respect for anybody. Whether you're living with his parents or you're friends with his mom or not, he's just one of those, kids. And of course, whatever he says goes, right? So we already knew shit was gonna hit the fan. And this is where like I made my mistake of getting too comfortable and, like I said, being a follower or instilling trust and just believe in friendship. Because years ago we were down South Street drinking. My friend and her boyfriend at the time came over from Jersey, and we went out to a bar. And I'm treating them, I'm buying them drinks, whatever. And we're leaving the bar. We're about to walk back to her car. We're walking back to her car. I said, "Fuck, I gotta take a piss." Now, you can't piss on the street because cops, right? So I run in this bar real quick. They said they'd wait for me. I take a piss, come right back out. They're gone. I fucking jogged down to the car because I knew just her character and the way she was. She wasn't like authentic, right? She wasn't a decent person. Cool to hang around, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I got down there, left. Now it's 3, 4 in the morning. They ain't answering the phone, which I knew they wouldn't. I had to walk home from South Street all the way down to Amber in Ontario. So, if you know South Street, Philadelphia, 4th and South, 6th and South, like Tattoo Moms, well, that's like 8th and South. From there, all the way down to Ontario and Amber Street off of Frankfurt Ave. And the night, I wasn't running at the time, and I left my keys in her car. My jacket, it was my rain jacket. It was raining out. It's just, and I cut her off for a long time, didn't talk to her, but I should have took that as a sign, right? Like, not to get too comfortable around this individual because they do shiesty shit. And not to get off topic, I'm just giving you like an idea of who this person is, right? And like I said, I'm not saying she's the reason I ended up homeless. I'm not saying that it's her son's fault. It's my fault. They gave me a roof. They helped me out, and I didn't take full advantage of the situation and prepared myself for the outcome of the shit show that was going to occur, right? And so her son moves in, whatever, everything's cool. Now there's bickering going back and forth with like the girl and whatever, and then the girl, she's the first one to leave, her and her son, right? And then shortly after that, I'm already looking for a place because I know it's coming. I know it. What was it? Damn, dude, there's so many incidents. So there's so many incidents to like where I'd come home and all my shit would be outside. Because their thing was like, "Oh, well, you gotta cut the grass, you gotta do this, you gotta do that." And then, whatever, which is fine. But all the hours I'm working and everything else, and at this point now she's off the truck, her husband is still doing the truck, but now her son's home, and her son's pretty handy and he does stuff, so like sometimes he'll do the grass or whatever, so I can't always, and whatever. I should have did the grass every week like clockwork, or like they said, what did they call me? They said I am the Nigger of the house. Huge red flag. And things progressed, whatever. Like I said multiple times, when shit was packed outside, I put a picture here of, and then they're like, you know, you need to leave, whatever. And then, like, just out of nowhere, I'd go, I'm like, all right, whatever. And then get a story. And they're like, oh, no, everything's fine. I'm sorry, I was just mad. Okay, because you and your husband's having problems. Or you and this. And, like, then, you know, you take it out on people. Or she'd get drunk. She's a bad drunk and she'd just do stupid shit. And somehow, like, I still felt like, no, you know, whatever, just. And her thing was like, I'm like, no, you know, I got work tomorrow, or I got to pay these bills, and then I'm trying to save money. And at the time, like, when she was off the truck, she just went party. I'm like, listen, I can't afford it. And she's like, oh, who gives a fuck? You're staying here, you know, just cut the grass and whatever, you know, let's fucking go out and blow that shit. So, of course, I got wrapped up in that, right? And it seemed like any time she knew I was about to be out of money, she's like, bang, get out. I'm like, so it's kind of like a catch and release. She says everyone's a narcissist, but when her son came around, there was a lot of problems. Eventually, I ended up just finding a place, and it's funny because I found a place with a local musician in Johnson City, Tennessee. I went into the bar, the bartender, me and him's cool as shit. He's like, yo, man, matter of fact, my fucking brother needs a roommate, and you'd be a perfect candidate for him, and he works all the time, you work all the time. Got the place, locked it down. Now I'm driving 2 hours from there down to the biker bar I'm working at, and I'm also doing music festivals in the side time or whatever, which is a whole nother video. And so when she's like, oh, you gotta go, and I came home, all my shit was outside. I was like, all right, cool, no sweat. You know, I had my coworker come fucking load his truck up, put shit in the storage unit, and then some shit in my girlfriend's storage unit, and then I was good because I already had a place because I knew what was transpiring. Fast forward, boom. August 20th. August 19th, me and my girlfriend and Frank were at a restaurant. It's a Sunday. I just got done working NASCAR. It's Bristol, baby. We go to a Mexican restaurant, whatever, we're going to argument. She leaves. I go upstairs to my room with my roommate, you know, the house I'm staying at. I'm drinking. I pass out. I didn't pay my phone bill that night. Scotty, buddy, hey, come over here, dude. And, I wake up to use the restroom. I notice my phone ain't on. I go grab my debit card, put it on, right? No, matter of fact, I'm on Wi-Fi using the internet, and I see my Aunt Flossie post, R.I.P. to my sister, Vera, my mother. I'm like, what the fuck? So right then and there, I hop off the toilet, like mid-turd, run to my wallet, grab my card, put it on. I see all these missed calls. I get my service on. I call my sister. She tells me I have it. I call my uncle. And, find out my mom dies, right? I'm like, fuck. You know? Well, actually, my neighbor, that's a dear friend of mine, he tried reaching me on Facebook Messenger, but I was passed out. He's like, dude, you need ambulance, just left your house. It was like 4:10 in the morning. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I guess he didn't want to tell me. And mom had a heart attack, died, whatever. Now, that's a whole nother story within itself. So time goes on. I'm bouncing at the bar. I'm still doing music festivals. My roommate was a heavy alcoholic. Like I said, he's a musician. You know, he's kind of like a star around that area, right? But like beer cans everywhere. He had a cool ass dog named Bert. Loved that dog. Loved that dog to death. But it'd just be trash. It was like a frat house. So now when my mom dies, my friend, she gets back in touch with me to see how I'm doing and everything. She invites me out for dinner. Now she's at HR, you know, no, not HR. She's like doing something to get into HR, like a intern, right? And, you know, we have a great talk, and she's like, listen, you know, my son left. The husband's still on the truck, and she's like, you know, I need help with the grass, and I'm scared to be here by myself. And she's like, anytime you want to come down and crash, because I know that you're still driving down to the biker bar, and, you know, like, you can crash here. Anyways, a month goes by. Talks me into move back in. Now this time scenario was different. She's like, don't worry about the grass, just give me $350 a month. $350 a month, not a problem, right? What do you know? 3-4 months later, son comes back around. He comes back around. I'm buying storage units, selling at flea markets. They start doing it, whatever. You know, we're having a good time. But now the son, he just starts like nitpicking, right? And, oh, well, you're doing this and you're doing that. And you're not cleaning the bathroom. And I'm thinking, like, I'm barely here. When I go in there, there's shit stains on the toilet. Toilet's basically yellow from people pissing all over it. Anytime I use anyone's bathroom, I always wipe down the toilet seat with a wet napkin, dry it off, and then when I'm done, even if I'm peeing at someone's house, I'll take a napkin, wipe off the rim, put the toilet seat back down, you know. I was like, well, I'll clean the bathroom, you know, okay. And it just like start escalating. Next thing I know, it's 4th of July. I'm out with a lady friend. She's a great barber, well, hairdresser. And I already know they wanted me to move. I come home, I have an eviction notice. Matter of fact, it was July 1st. I have an eviction notice on my room door. I'm like, oh. And now at this point, I got back into the habit of not having, you know, like not saving money and not preparing, right? Because we're all back partying and, you know, just being irresponsible. As I said, most of this is my fault. So, I couldn't find a place because now I have my dog, because after my mom died, I came up to get my dog, and it's hard to find a place for a dog. And at one point, like, I was doing well with credit cards, and I actually had my credit score up to like almost like 680. And my mom died, I kind of went into a downward spiral, and maxed out my credit cards and just, you know, just like trying to cope, right? Because I'd never grieved like that before, you know, like it was. So most of my life I never had to worry about like places to rent because my uncle was a real estate dude. He had over 220 houses. Anytime I needed a place, I didn't have to worry about like a credit check. He knew I had money. He knew how my income was coming in. He knew that, you know. So now I'm like trying to find a place, and all these places I'm finding are $800 a month for one bedroom. Some of them were plus 75 plus the pet deposit, but plus the 75 is like just to have your dog, and then they can't be over like 35 pounds for a medium dog, which I thought a medium dog was my dog, like 50 to 70, right? Because he's a lab red bone coon. He's not big, but he's not small. And credit score shit, you know, which my fault. Places are kind of out of my budget. Ended up getting up 800. Sold all my coins, all my jewelry my mom bought me as a kid. Sold a lot of sentimental stuff. I had these old silver coins from Mexico. The guy I sold them to wasn't even actually allowed to buy them because they're from a different country. And they're from like the 70s. Fucking beautiful coins. And I got up to 800. I got up the security deposit plus the pet fee. And when I went there, the guy seen my tags. And he's like, oh, you're from Greenville. And he's like, so what do you do for work? And now this time, I'm working at the burger bar, but they pay me under the table. So that's not a good proof of income. I'm doing DoorDash, which I'm making anywhere from 700 up to $1,000, but, you know, taking out taxes, gas, eating, and everything else. And just being irresponsible, not being frugal, right? But anyways, I pawn everything, get up the money, go meet this dude for this trailer. Nice little spot, you know, raggedy ass trailer. And he's like, yeah, dude, he's seen my license plate. And my car was kind of dirty, right? Because I'm kind of like living in it, right? He's like, he's like, sorry, man. He said, just, that's cool. You got the money on you now. But like, if you get back on your rent, how would I go anywhere to get that money? And he's like, do you have like bank info of like stating that you have at least 6 months of rent put away? I'm like, fuck, who the fuck has that? I know people do, but, you know, I'm like, fuck. And I could understand where he's coming from, but like, what happened, like, say if you're a shitty landlord and I put your money into like not an equity, but anyways, there's a name for it, you know, until you start fixing shit, then you get an escrow account, right? Like, or how about if I just didn't pay? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, make me go withdraw it? Just like he said he was gonna rent to a welder, but the welder worked in Virginia, so he had no way of going to Virginia to get the money from his employer. I'm like, employers ain't gonna hand you over checks. But anyways, long story short, the dude just didn't want to rent to me. I wasn't a good candidate. I did have a DUI on my record. I had a few months prior, I got locked up for public intox, which was my fault, but my friend passed out on the sidewalk on my birthday, and they locked my friend up, and we had an open battle, and I got locked up. So, yeah, none of that looks good. So I'm holding on to the $1,600. I'm living on the river, which I'll show you here, and trying to DoorDash, but my dog, you can't really DoorDash with dogs, and I understand that people have allergies, and you know, it's just not a good look, right? Now, sometimes at night, when it's dark out, I would do it, because you can get away, they don't see them, but even then, like, I don't want dog hair over people's drinks, and you know what I'm saying? So, I was paying Rover. Rover's a dog app thing, like pet sitting, and I was paying anywhere from $35 to $45, and I was driving them out past Bristol, Virginia, when I was staying in Irwin, Tennessee, which is on the state line of North Carolina, and I'm going all the way across, you know. And once I was in that, now don't get me wrong, I had a few girls I was dating, I was a hobosexual. Like I said, a hobosexual. Shit. Baby, you ain't gotta be that good looking. You got a warm couch and a hole for me to sleep in. I got you, boo. I'd go out by state, you know, wine and dine 'em. But it was just messy, you know. It was a bad situation, but I also had some of the greatest times of my life just being homeless, because like I was stressed out, you know, like shit was hard. It was, I'll never forget it. I started off with a tent and this blanket that I got in my bed now, and I just had like double folded, didn't have no pillows, nothing. I had pillows in my storage unit. I had a beautiful king size bed in my storage unit that I bought, and you know, like when I was getting myself established, and dude, I would just lay there and cry and fuck, and then like I'd just like open up the top of tent and stare at the stars, and my dog would be cuddling on me, and it was just me and him, you know. And it makes me sad now just like thinking about it. Like, fucking shit sucked, dude, but it was what was needed, right? Like, and yeah, that's how I ended up the homeless, just fucking being dumb and trusting people, or like getting comfortable, right? And I can understand their perspectives of why they wanted me to move out in some sense, but when I look at my friend's situation, and before this kid came up, like, she's like, yo, like, me and her was leaving Food City or something, and she's like, yo, if he's coming, like, she said, like, listen, we may bicker back and forth, but we knew each other for years. She's like, me and you gotta work together. Me, you, and my son, we need to find a place, like, soon as he gets here, because it's gonna be bad. And they absolutely ran her into the fucking ground. Threw away years of friendship, all because of this teenage boy that's, I'm not even going to say the word, but, you know, the individual that was our friend would always talk about narcissists and narcissism, and I'll never forget it. We went out one day, I went to go get a haircut, and, you know, I've been working, whatever, I get my haircut, and I got dandruff, it falls on my shirt, right? She's like, yo, look at all that dandruff. Like, whatever she could do to publicly, like, humiliate you or criticize you, she would. We're at a restaurant one day, and she's like, yeah, do you know he don't know how to, do you know what he calls, like, things that fly off the fire? He calls them ambers, not umbers, or, you know. And I grew up with speech impairment, whatever, you know. I had a speech therapist, was in special classes, you know, just learning disabilities, so she'd always, like, poke at those things, and I was never somebody to, like, make fun of somebody for the way they dress, for the way they look. Oh, but you ain't got Nike, you're wearing Shaq's. Hey, brother, at least you got shoes, you know? Never went out my way to public humiliate people, or like just, oh, look at all that thing. Like, yeah, I know, you know, and I should have seen the signs, and I guess like the good like outweighed the bad, right? But like when she would hit you, like it was very calculated. It was very calculated. It was very vicious. It was like, yeah, oh, you're down and out, huh? Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, again, it was all my fault. It's my stupidity. It was my lack of judgment. It was, you know, I should have knew better, right? And that's how I ended up homeless. And I'm gonna make another video about like what I ate, stories of being homeless, self-protection, bears, snakes. There's so much shit. Fucking other homeless people, fighting, and also like how I got out of that, right? And yeah, man, I just wanted to make this video. It's not quick, it's a half an hour, but this is part one of how I became homeless. Sorry if I go off topic or like rant a lot or whatever it is. I just have a hard time like articulating everything, and even if I do put notes and I like try to read them, like I'm someone that just has to go off it and be like, yo, this is, and hopefully you can keep up, and if not, that's why you got the fucking rewind button, right? Rewind, try to, but yeah, blessings come disguised as disasters. Remember that, man, because bad as that was, it was some of the greatest memories of my life, like things that I will cherish, and there was a lot of beauty in it. And that's all I gotta say about that, guys. I'm cooled off, I'm relaxed.